Hey guys, this is Sean Sanders. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. So hit that like button, subscribe, and tell a friend about me. So let me tell you something that happened to me last week. First of all, I missed you guys. I actually had a video for you guys. I had taped myself at the gym with my friend and my trainer, Tammy. However, halfway through, my camera stopped working on my phone because I had used up all the memory. So I was thinking, okay, no sweat. I will just do what I have and I'll just let you know what I've done. And so I had to take all the movies that I have done and the photos that I've taken and put them on a flash drive. And I thought that that was enough. Well, somehow or another, during that transition, some of the videos, mainly the ones that I did recently last week of my workout, they just didn't show up. So I have no idea what happened, and so that is why I didn't come to you with a video. And so I apologize. I am going to try again to do that and let you see my workout and what I do and see how that works. I just don't know how I'm going to coordinate it because it made my workout a lot longer than I had planned, and I will have to get Tammy's cooperation in that. So bear with me, but I was thinking about you guys, and I apologize that I did not get a video up. So I am coming today because I wanted to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta, not the reunion as far as that's concerned, but this whole saga with Phaedra and Kandi. And Bondi Blue had touched on it, and Forest Rocks had touched on it. Maybe a couple of other YouTubers had touched on it, but I'm going to talk about Phaedra and Kandi and what is going on with them as far as the dynamics, as far as friendships and the friends who are with them. And no one is talking about it, but a lot of times when you have friends that come together and then a couple divorces, split up, whatever the case may be, where do the friends go? It's like, we're getting a divorce, we're splitting up, who gets custody of the baby? And I say that because I think it's very clear about Phaedra and Kandi on a couple of levels. One is, I think Phaedra will not say it, but it's the elephant in the room, and she is feeling some kind of way that her friends, because I really believe that she feels that Kandi and Todd are her friends, and how dare they side with Apollo on any level. And we see that a lot. You may have been involved in it. I know I have been involved in a situation where you have Phaedra and Kandi. They were friends, and of course she had Apollo, newly married when her and Kandi formed a friendship. Then Kandi has her man, and then they are, double dating couple friends, and the husbands get together and they form their own friendship, isolated or out of the, on their own, besides having a husband and wife double date relationship or friendship. Now, here it is, Phaedra and Apollo are going through their crisis. They're, obviously are not going to be together. And so what happens to the friends? Do the friends side with Phaedra or do they side with Apollo? And I think there are certain layers that come into play. One of them is, I think the line was drawn in the sand when Kandi had made her opinion about Phaedra debating on not taking the kids to see Apollo. And when she had made her opinion that she felt that it was important for the boys to go see Apollo, Phaedra definitely took that as a strike against her as a woman, as a mother, and that she was in a sense siding on Apollo. Okay? And that was the crack in their friendship, because since Kandi was trying to get her to see the side of Apollo, and that, even though he's incarcerated, that he's still a dad, and that it's important for a father and a son to have a relationship, or a father and their child to have a relationship, she wasn't hearing any of that. And it was very evident when Kandi brought her, I think, cousin, it was a family member, and trying to get her to see the children's side of the situation about having a relationship with a parent that is in jail. And Phaedra was not having it. She was very clear about, you're not going to pose your opinion on me. And so she was already feeling some kind of way. Then fast forward to the issue about his possessions, which I didn't think was a big deal. Now, think about it. Last season, Apollo and Phaedra were not communicating. Remember that infamous "go away from me with this" in the garage? He was very clear when he said that my stuff better be here when I get back, when I get out of jail. And I am pretty sure that she could have cared less where his possessions went. And he was probably concerned that she was going to either auction it or give it away or anything other than hold his possessions. So naturally, he asked his friends to hold his possessions. And because Todd and Peter are friends of Apollo, have what would seemingly be a genuine friendship between the guys, they were like, fine. Now, Kandi and Phaedra weren't even having any communication. So if Todd decided to hold his stuff, why would she care? Whatever. I mean, she wasn't even talking to Phaedra pretty much at that time. And Phaedra was very clear about, well, he's never home, and he's doing his thing, and I'm really not caring. So why would it be a stretch that Kandi would co-sign, or just by omission decide, well, if Todd wants to hold his friend's stuff, why not? I mean, I don't think it's a stretch. And I think we've all done that, where a spouse will I'm not going to nitpick if my husband decides to take some of his friend's stuff, hold it for him in the garage. And so now she wants to make a big deal as if this is another infraction of their friendship. So tell me in the comments below how you feel about that, and how do you deal with being the friend of a couple that split up. And I'll tell you a story that happened to me. I have a few minutes that I can talk. So I had a friend, I'm going to call him Dave, and he and I were friends in the military. We were stationed together in England. We were tight. And we got stationed in Maryland, and he meets a girl, and he starts dating this girl we'll call Debbie. And my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, and Dave and Debbie, we all, did a lot of things together, and got together, cookouts and things like that. We were a close, couple, friends. And long story short, Dave decides to break up with Debbie, and it was a very devastating situation. She didn't see it coming. He dropped a bombshell on her that led to the demise of their relationship. And so we were all kind of taken aback and wondering what was going on. Me being Dave's friend, because he and I were the nucleus of the group, we were the ones who had the long-standing friendship. I try to go to him, try to find out what's going on. How can I help? Is there any way to reconcile and all this stuff? Well, what he ended up doing was he ended up cutting off all relationship ties. And after a while, I just stopped trying to find out his side of the story because he wasn't letting anybody in. And so Debbie was really having a hard time with the whole situation. And I felt at that time I was also her friend. Even though I had a very close relationship with Dave, Debbie and I had formed a friendship separate from being a couple, two couples hanging out together. Well, long story short, I would say about 6 weeks later, Dave decides to confront me and ask me about Debbie and what she's doing and all that. And I said, well, if you're really concerned about her, you should go and call her and find out. And he says, well, I'm asking you. And I said, well, I'm not going to tell you how she's doing. It's not for me to divulge. I don't tell her anything about you. You and I haven't even talked. This is the first time we've talked in weeks. And so he got very angry about it. And said, well, you're my friend. And I said, yeah, I am your friend. And I tried everything I could to try to be your friend. But I think she needs my friendship more than you. You have pulled yourself away from everybody. So I'm not going to stop being her friend and dealing with a breakup just because you think that I'm your friend and I shouldn't talk to her anymore because you guys have broken up. I mean, her and I have developed a friendship. And so he forced me to pick a side. And I was really taken aback by that because you kind of exile yourself and decide you don't want to have anything to do with us as friends. And now you're coming back and I'm supposed to just be okay and decide to cut my friendship with Debbie off. I told him I wasn't going to do it. I can be both of your friends, and deal with it, but you're not going to make me choose a side, and I've decided that I'm going to remain her friend. Well, long story short, here it is now. I would say close to 20 years, and I'm still friends with Debbie. And Dave, I haven't heard from him in 17 years. So Phaedra has a tendency of being very standoffish, and she has a friendship at an arm's length. And let's face it, Apollo's likable. So is it a stretch that they would want to rally for Apollo and do what they can to help him in the situation? Even though he definitely has done some things that was at his fault. But even as friends, you try to do something, even though you don't always agree with what their behavior is or their decisions are, but you try to help them as best as they can. So I think this is something that plays out in many people's lives about friendships, and when you're a couple and you bring people in the group. Are you a possessive friend? Are you a friend that feels like if you're my friend, you stay my friend no matter what? So let me know how that goes. So I just wanted to touch base on that. And I hope you've had a wonderful beginning of your week. I'm looking forward to Easter and Good Friday. And maybe I'll touch in and stop by before the weekend is upon us. So thank you so much. I'm going to stop rambling. You take care of yourself and each other, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.